Do. Ah. Hello, my favorite people in the world. How are you? And oh, you know what? First, my good friend Anson usually checks in to say my sound is sucky or good, and it's good. All right, Anson, we're good. You can hear me. I don't hopefully sound robotic and all that stuff. It's good. I hope you had a good week, man. I think the health issues I've been fighting off and on since February last year, have settled enough for me to actually do tonight's stream. So I'm really excited about it. I was going to work on, of course, I was going to work on We Only Bring Death, but I had this idea just pop in my head, and I had to draw it. So that's referring to this one here. I posted the sketch in the initial sketch, which was much simpler. You can see like the line work. I literally, it's like I was just drawing bodies randomly, just the idea they're floating. And then when I started rendering, I said, oh, shoot, I got some waves and stuff in here. And so I incorporated that to make the bodies, and because they're not in the same perspective plane. At one point, I was going to do just flat water, but the ocean moves, right? And also, this is a funny thing. So my initial sketch didn't have a horizon. Now, you may notice in this picture, the horizon line is at the top of the image, which is, according to the Fablemans, a good thing. Another thing would be to have this horizon line down here, because then it would be all sky, which would make this a good image. I'm sorry, that scene is still my favorite from the Fablemans. It keeps popping into my head. So anyway, so when I initially drew it, I didn't draw a horizon or anything. And then I thought of that scene from the Fablemans. I went, you know what? A horizon line right up there with a little bit of cloud work and some sunset or sunrise coming through. So she's backlit. And then all these bodies have this weird effect of being partially submerged, and light travels through the water. So coloring them is going to be a challenge if I do the color version of this piece. And this wasn't, I clearly wasn't trying to establish real painting here. This is very much a just a value study, because I realized that there's going to be some near blacks, and some areas that are going to be lighter than what I'd normally get from my scribbling. So I decided I don't necessarily have to, but I should have a guide to make sure I don't lose control of the image. Like if I ended up getting way too dark here, and then I got all this black here, it's not going to work. So I just wanted something, so it's like when I'm making something, I look at it, how dark am I going? So it's like a study. It's like a color study before you do a finished painting. So that's why I did this. I do this on really complex value pieces, and that I know I'm only going to do in pen and ink. If I were painting, I'd probably do a small watercolor in comparison to the full-size piece. I did that for the Hellboy, which is still sitting over in a corner needing to be finished. Yeah, so that's why I'm inking tonight. Hopefully I can get a lot of it done. Yes, this book arrived this week. God, these books are so beautiful. I think you were telling me that at one point it looked like they were canceled, which is horrifying. I mean, Julian Blondell is so good. Sorry, and why did I think Blondell's the guy overseeing the thing? I think Kano started the art, but then I think I don't know how to pronounce his name. I do not. Valentin Sachet. Damn it! I know I'm butchering. He is so good. Look at this motherfucker's drawing. Apparently, if I swear, there's a good chance my views are get put down. So no, I didn't say that. I said mucker pucker. That's what I said. I said mucker pucker, which is a much safer thing to say in public. God, look at that face. And the coloring is so beautiful and subtle too. I love these books. God. And it's like, yeah, okay, so one or two comes out a year. I hope the artists and creative team are paid enough that they can afford to just have like one book come out a year. I'm pretty sure that an artist at this level could probably do 3 albums a year, because that's about 180 pages. And so that works out to be about, I don't know, a page every 2 days. Ballparking, the math doesn't have to be strict. But, and I love this design of the chaos symbol. There's one in the Alan Moore book that is going to be one of my probably my second tattoo. I mean, I got that one a while ago, so this one's going to be all magic tattoos. Oh, look, slightly darkened spot from my giving blood again this week, past week. So I think I'm gonna figure out design the interstitial elements for the tattoos. I think I'm gonna do horizontal bars across the forearm, and then uh, include specific magical designs that cohere. So I got the pentacle, and I think I'm gonna put the symbol of order and symbol of chaos. I'm gonna put the chaos out because that's gonna be more seen and it's actually more visual, striking image, and the symbol of order. And I'm gonna do some of the other fantastical. I'm gonna probably pull up some actual real world stuff and make some made up stuff. And then I'll do this, and then I'll probably do things like ancient Greek magical symbols, ancient Roman magic symbols, ancient Russian magic symbol, basically whatever. I'll dig up what I can find that makes an interesting idea and just go crazy with that. They really are. I mean, so long-term deal with the books I'm doing through Zoop. When I get 3 volumes, which will be roughly around 300, 350 pages, I will probably find, I'll either reach out to Image, see if they're still interested in working with me. They were a few years ago, but I haven't been pursuing it, or another mainstream publisher to put out beautiful hardcover editions of the Witch book, the Viking book, the other projects I want to do down the road. And I want them to come out in hardcover first. Big deluxe books with a whole bunch of extra stuff to justify buying the story potentially for the second time. And just make it a beautiful thing so you can reach out and it has all the Viking things. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to stop at 3 witch books and then stop there, but I'm saying that's my goal. My goal is to do 3 witch books. The collection of the drawings is the first one. The second one I'm working on that has the Arachne story promoting it is the second book. The third one's going to be a graphic novel. The first Viking book is also going to be a graphic novel. And so that campaign will be starting soon. I did finish. I was looking for it before the had to do a major clean of my studios past week. It was just impossible to work. I was losing stuff for the Death Tally project I'm working on. I lost all my cover roughs for This Arc is Second Coming, so I got to find them or redraw them. So I tidied up a bunch of my studio, and I think that's how I misplaced a bunch of stuff. So I have the We Bring Only Death piece done. But it's not even scanned. It's just sitting in a pile of art paper somewhere around here. But as soon as that is scanned, I'll probably write up. I want to rewrite the text for the Coven placeholder page too. I look at it again and I was like, wow, that's really awkward. But yeah, so I'll update the Coven text, and I'm touching this a lot, aren't I? And get the We Bring Only Death page up. All right. Today, my son dropped by so he could drop off my Christmas gift, and I could finally give him his Christmas. We saw each other over the holidays, but I was sick. We had to cancel the day we were actually going to exchange gifts. So he knows I'm a sucker for laughing and crying, like most humans. So he got me the complete Ted Lasso. God, I love my son. And then he's taking me to Vegas next week. I mean, holy shit. What a great kid. See, the weird thing is I actually do have one last subscription service where I can rewatch some Apple programs and some other stuff. But owning the media is so much better. So much better. I'm a big own the media thing. Yeah, so I'm going to ink this right off the bat. Here's my Moo eraser, my nice soft Moo eraser, which is no longer made. I went digging when I was cleaning. I found a partially used Moo eraser. These got discontinued last year. They're the softest eraser I've ever used. And because they're so soft, they get right into the grain of the paper. They don't damage the grain of the paper, but they pull all the graphite out. So I love this eraser so much. It was manufactured in Korea, and it was imported to the US. So I always had to order it from the States. And now I'm down to my last 5, which maybe will last a year. A really good friend recommended the Sumo. Okay. So this black eraser originally came this big. Yeah, here we go. Or is it like this? No, it's like that. All right, cool. I cut it in half because that's just too big an eraser. What's going to happen is turn into a ball and be unworkable. So I'm more comfortable with erasers shaped like this. It gives me more edges to play with. But this is a pretty damn good eraser. I haven't had a chance to use it as much because most of what I've been drawing this past week has been with pen or on the computer. But I have a feeling that the first little test was like, here, hang on. Well, I don't want to do that on the artboard. What are some of the ink transfers that? I thought I printed this on Eon board, but I printed it on a plate finish Strathmore, I think. I really like my Eon board. I'm tempted to print it out again. You know what? I'm going to do that. Here we go. I print it out. You can see some shine in this paper. It means I know the lines will go down easily, but first off, let me do this. See how paper stuff erases that. So the pencil on slick paper goes down very clean, but also somewhat lighter. It's always had this weird effect. I have always hated working on plate paper. Back when I first broke in at Marvel, I loved their kid finish paper. It had a little bit of tooth to it. I think at the time it was Strathmore 400, which DC is still using, and before Strathmore changed their formulation. Look at that. No, I can't see any graphite at all. There's not one bit of residue. So, it was weird that I had to be recommended to use Sumo erasers because I already use a Sumo grip pencil. I love these 0.7 pencils. Yeah, this is good. All right, that's good. Okay, so I tested out the eraser and the paper held up to that, and I'm not seeing any loss of gloss in paper. So it means its surface is a little tougher than I was afraid of. Let's see if it bleeds from marker. Got myself a 0.2 Rotring Tiki graphic. Okay, I'm not seeing any bleeding from that pen. Let me try one of my Otos. Now, my Otos are liquid ink ballpoint pens. I believe they say they have a ceramic tip in the pen. Maybe they do. It looks like titanium to me. I could be wrong. It's a ballpoint. It's a tiny little pen mark. 0.5. So let me go here. Let me go into the solid black area so I can actually. Oh shit! Those lines are going down really good. Sorry, I'm really impressed. The lines are going down really clean. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a few minutes, and then I'm going to do a light erasing and see how much of that ink comes up. One of the other problems I have, I mean, if I'm actually working on like say a 2-ply Strathmore 400 plate, then I'm not surprised. But this feels like almost like generic Bristol, like the stuff you'd buy and it just says Bristol board. And I'm not sure because I haven't bought plate in forever, so someone must have given it to me. That makes sense. What's the pen I use in this? I'm doing the testing phase. I might end up throwing this out and restarting anyway. I might as well try it out. Ooh, here we go. No, it's the black. Okay, so I find that this Sharpie paint pen dries very slowly compared to a lot of other pigment-based brush pens or Fude pens. It's not that fine. I can get fine-ish lines out of it, but not fine lines. Not consistent. It's very brushy. I like it. And it looks like it's also not drying very quickly. Can you see the shine here? Let's see. Is shine show up in that? Can I get a reflection? Can I get a reflection in the house? Apparently not. I can see it with my eye, but I'm not seeing it flash. Oh, there's a little bit. You can see a little bit of shine in the ink paint. It's starting to dry. It's still very slow. So that's still not a go-to. Let me try a different. Here we go. Here are my other two go-to. No, not that one. That's the same pen. That's the same pen, young man. Here we go. All right, these are my other two Fude pens. Unipen Fine Line, recommended by Derek Robertson, Transmetropolitan, and a bunch of other amazing books. I really like these. These are like a plastic tip, fiber tip. This one's been well used before. It's not being as fine as it usually is. I can see that I put some wear in that tip, so it's lost the finest aspect of its point. But I'm just doing this for a test. And here is, I'll do a comparison between the two here. See if you can see it this close up. Get in focus. There we go. So you can see the first one I use has a pointy bullet shape to its point. And the second one, the one I just grabbed at Faber-Castell, has a bit of a bevel in it. So you can do this weird kind of side swipe and get like almost like a devil's brush effect from like the early days of comic book inking. Like it's the brush that looks like when you're using it, it has like 2 or 3 points to it and it's consistent. And that's when the artist, I think they used to just burn off the tip in a very specific way. And it would give them that type of shape brush that would give them essentially a dedicated cross-hatching brush that would, here we go, that's good. That would do multiple lines in one stroke. So it would greatly speed up the way the inker could work. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry for a little bit. Okay, the Sharpie finally dried, but I want to give it a little bit more time to almost, I guess, almost cure into the paper. And see, Ensign wrote something. Here we go. Read books. Trade of Savage Swords. Yeah, good. I don't think I would have to look at the contract again. I don't think the numbers are realistic for me to expect a royalty for 1/6 of a book. It's 3 volumes. I think my issue, most of the issue was my story, my engine story, not to be egocentric. They also forgot to tell. I wanted to redo the first double spread where he's fighting the monsters, and I laid it out. I told him I'll try and get it done in time for the deadline. I wasn't able to. It just wasn't. But I said, when you go to reprint, or if you want me to do a color version of this, let me know, because I got this double spread ready to go. And no one asked me. They're really busy. Matt, their editor, their startup editor, had left roughly a month or two before my deadline on my issue was done. So I think there's a communication drop. I have seen pages from issue 1 that now look like we're worth having. Issue 1 printed so badly, and it just made all 3 quite lovely artists look terrible. Plus the artists who did the pinups and everything were just like, they're beautiful, like Subversive Girl. I don't remember what her real name is. I've known her as Subversive Girl since I first saw her on Instagram. She did a Belite piece that is so dark in the first issue, it's almost illegible. And it cleans up so much with quality printing in the 3rd volume. So if you're holding off because you got it and you're happy with what you got, you're fine. If you want to see that first issue, or have all 3 of the first volumes of Savage Sword in one book, then it's probably worth. I understand it's actually quite a cheap trade paperback too. I haven't seen the price yet. A friend of mine said he was amazed at how low the price was for the 3-volume collection. But thanks for asking. Yeah. If I know if I was working on a monthly book, I'm pretty sure there'd be some form of royalty from that, because apparently that's still selling like really well. I think what I'm going to do here is I think that's enough time to dry. So let's see if it happens when we get really up close and personal with you guys. So there is a shine on the non-Sharpie stuff, and the Sharpie stuff is very matte, which is the reverse of what we had before. But all the lines are incredibly dark and sharp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run the Moo eraser over this and see what happens. Like if they're smudging or running or fading, then I'll switch back to Eon. Otherwise, we're going to stick with this magical plate paper for this piece. It's actually a little wider. This is wider than my 17 too. Holy shit. All right. Okay. I don't want to run my fingers on that. Another reason why I don't like penciling in the same paper I ink on is I know how damaging oil from your hands is to the artboard over time. I mean, you've seen, there's a good chance you've seen some older comic pages that have like darker yellow like fingerprints on them, and it's like, why are there fingerprints? It's because of like oil or other chemicals on the human's hands when they're touching this. All right, okay, so I'm looking at it. So this brush faded a lot. Now I have to remember which brush I did that with. So that was marker, pen. This was the Sharpie. This was, I'm gonna have to do it again. All right, this is the one that couldn't do, I used it too much to get a nice sharp point, so I ended up getting all these blunt lines. So this is the one that fades on the water and fade proof, yet it faded like crazy here. You know what? Just before I do that again, I'm gonna do it again. I'm just gonna be solid black here. So this is the uni. So I got that there. And this is the pit. Actually, you know what? That looks like it's drying out a bit. Hang on. Huh, this one, you know what? Maybe I should test it against another fresher pit. I don't want to dismiss a marker because of something that it couldn't control. Where was that bag full of markers? I have this very advanced storage system where I generally keep the art supplies in the bag I buy them in. And all my uni markers are in the same bubble wrap bag they arrived in from Cult Pens in the UK. But I do stick the bag with all the other pens, so it should be right here unless I just recently rated it for something and then put it back with something stupid. Which, has happened. Oh, hey, what the hell are you doing here? Isakone! He was hanging out with my pens. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not seeing him at hand, which means I probably just put him down somewhere adjacent. Oh, look, another move. Let me pull this up here. I have a few moves in unopened packaging too. So this is how they sold them. Visible there? Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, it's not showing up right away. I know it can't go too far, but again, because I just did that big cleaning, there's a good chance that a whole bunch of important stuff got moved around. And right now during stream, I don't think it's a good idea to start messing around. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove the uni brush from consideration for this piece. And Conan, you can't help. Sorry, I know you like drawing. He's a nerd. Where the hell did this fall from? Oh yeah, I moved him so I could put my Frankenstein up. I'll find a different place for Conan. Yeah, so that's decent from Nayana Co. Limited, made in Korea. Professional eraser. Moo. I have. That's supposed to be a cow drawing. I don't know. Yeah, I even contacted the people who were the last exporters in the U.S. for them. And I said, you wouldn't happen to have like a box of them lying around, would you, that you shipped it? She said, no. Apparently, I was like the 15th or 16th artist to contact him about the eraser. So that was kind of cool. All right, so it looks like I'm sticking with this. Oh, you know what? I didn't try this corner over here, so this is more isolated. Yeah, there's some lift there, but it's looking sharp. I think this might be driven by the Odozo. As usual, when I actually start seriously inking, after I made a few lines, a lot of times before the stream starts, I will work on something for a little bit just to get some of the hand movements running. So there's no stiffness in the wrists and any of that. So the trick is in their initial appearances, there wasn't any, to my memory, any real light affecting Death's hair. It was always like the solid black, which is fine from a drawing characters that look like Patrick Nagel designed them type of thing. And a number of times I've done the solid black effect for Death, because it works. But I want a rim light, so I am there's going to be some light hitting her hair, so I'll be spending some time on that. His neck hurts. Okay, I missed what prompted that ends. I'm sorry. So it feels out of context for me, but I'm probably I said something incredibly stupid that set that up perfectly. So I'm using a 01. I misplaced the lid, but they have the number on the side. So that gives me the almost finest lines of my otos. My finest is the 005, which I'll do things for like super fine details up close. I find that in terms of like bigger images like this, going that fine has a higher incidence of line loss. Here's a 0.5. This is I keep meaning to get a box of 0.8s, but this is the thickest line I have on hand right now. So it looks like I'm scribbling in the hair for a value. What I'm really doing is, because a lot of this, I'm going to go with like something like the Sharpie brush or an actual real brush before I finish this. An area where I miss, if it has like a line with a little bit of white behind it, it's going to look like hair catching some light. So if I render this loosely initially, and then go back with the brush and reinforce the heavier shapes of the hair moving around the head, it'll work much more solidly as drawing hair. I think I finished the first script for my box series for YouTube. I talked about it 2 weeks ago. It's I just have the thing. Oh, you know what? Again, cleaning up studio moves it around. It's all about design and perceiving the space you're using in a comic page as an artist. I mean, ultimately, it might have benefits for everyone in working in comics because I see a lot of writers who don't write with the knowledge that everything's a box. Um, and this is the thing. This is the thing I remember telling my friend. Everything's a box until it isn't. But we're talking about if we're talking about print and publication, everything's a box. The book itself is a box. The page is a box. The double spread is just a bigger box that's double wide. Um, I'll just go crazy. I think it's the witch's influence on me. I'll always go crazy adding more hair. I'll pencil out a little bit of hair, and then suddenly, oh my god, where'd all that hair come from? Oh, quick. So, Happy New Year's. Again, I keep forgetting. I had to cancel last week because I just didn't have it in me. Um, and So I had an okay New Year's Eve. I think I was originally supposed to go over to Jim Zub's and Stacey King's place for New Year's, but honestly, I was still just so exhausted from fighting everything, recovering from everything that yeah, I'm doing like real. Now I'm using a 0.5, drawing into the hair. So I don't know if that shows up. So I have all this parallel hatching here. Here we go. See that parallel hatching at the bottom of her hair? It's sketchy and messy as hell, right? TV show. Yeah, I watched the first season of the TV show. Um, it had its moments. I mean, that's it. Until people forget about what Neil Gaiman has been credibly accused of. That's it for all Neil Gaiman TV. In fact, I think Good Omens is only being wrapped to preserve the relationships with the actors, not so much Neil Gaiman. It could also be that they're terrified of like losing support from monthly service. I like the way the line breaks on this. Not quite the same way as it breaks on Eon with the tooth. Um, Oops, that was a messy line. I don't actually know why I'm doing a contour line with a 5. I should be using a 3. That's terrible on me. Now, that may seem like a weird kind of like distinction to maintain certain lines for certain positions, but I find that it helps me maintain control over what I'm doing. Luckily, this is close enough to the black dress that I can just literally cover it with an idea that water lines traveling through everything will obfuscate any rough edges, and I can just go in the white paint and fix like these little bits here on the inside of the arm where my lines went through. I never worried about that because it's one brush stroke all fixed. Where I went too thick here on the inside of the elbow here, on the line drawing, just describing the contour of her arm. That got too thick, but I can actually parallel, clean up with white on this side, and then reshape that line on the outside, and then I'll have a softer line there. Mm-hmm. No, okay, so here. A big part of inking is deciding whether or not you're going to do a naturalistic approach, which is closer to straight up drawing in ink. So you're letting lines determine information for the viewer. The other is when it's incredibly stylistic and designed to make the work look strong for print. Knock the cap off my pen and cut it before it went flying. So I think because I wasn't here for New Year's, I didn't talk about Conclave. I also, over on Facebook, not on Instagram, it doesn't feel like an Instagram level post. I posted my top 10 movies for the year. It's a placeholder because there's, I think 4 or 5 movies I'm hearing nothing but amazing things about that I haven't seen yet, like Anora and Count of Monte Cristo. The lines are a little too hairy here with the inner boob. I might clean that up and redo those lines. And I'm going to show you how to do bullshit lace on the edge of a bustier. So I'm going to grab my finest ballpoint. 1, 5, 5. Did I get that up with the rest of the pens? It's in the wrong area. So this is the finest of the ballpoints I use of the Oto line. It is a 005. I wonder if you can see that. Put it up there. If it gets that close to the camera, you have no choice but to see it. See. So I got the finest lines I can use now in this pen. And I have all these shapes that I'm just filling with cross hatching at the edge of the bustier. And then I crosshatch, but not really stay inside the lines as much. And then I go back and I scoop in some other lines to pull in the tool or the mesh. Oh, you know what? This is actually the best pen for this part of the face. You know, I'm going to clean up that little bit of line later. Yeah. Oh, the Ankh. You know what? I completely forgot about the Ankh. Great catch. I'll draw one in there. Wow. Good catch. Thanks. Yeah, pretty much every cover I've done for the last several years, I've colored. When I can, I color my interior work, but most of the time that's just not practicable. I can't believe I forgot her Ankh. I could put one, just a little Ankh on her boob. That'd be a nice change. Go back to the one here for this. Oh, I figure I should also mention there won't be a stream next week, but I noticed in advance it won't be a health thing. My son's taking me to Las Vegas for my 57th birthday. So Sunday would actually be my birthday. So it would have been a weird birthday stream. But instead, we're leaving like the next morning for Vegas and staying for a week. I'm pretty much just going there to sit on my ass and absorb vitamin D. No, I won't be enjoying the services of a gay prostitute. I mean, sunlight. I live in Canada, man. I need some sun. Being sick all last year really meant I didn't get outdoors nearly enough. So it's like I'm bringing some reading, bringing a little bit of work. But really, I'm going there to be a bump in the log. If my knee's feeling still okay, what I might do is I might use the hotel gym. I haven't been going back to the gym because my knee's been shot for so long. But that's part of the reason why my health got so bad this past year. It was knee injuries and dental stuff and all sorts of weird stuff that just didn't do what it was supposed to. But yeah, getting a nice. It won't be a week off because I can't. What freelancer can take a week off? I know I can't. So I'm going to bring some work to do, probably some biking stuff and everything, and some Second Coming stuff. Hopefully I'll get the script for 5. I can work on that when I'm out there. I should ask him about it. And I should also try and send him some more layouts before I go. Although I hate to say it, this might be bad news for some people. Leonard Kirk had a stroke over the holidays. He appears, based on his public post, I sent him a bunch of messages. He hasn't responded yet. He's basically firing for getting Facebook posts about his health progress. Everyone, wishing him the best, but holy shit, that's a stroke. He sounds really positive, but Leonard's always been a really positive person. So if it's me hoping, that he is doing much better, considering he had a stroke. Hopefully that makes sense. It doesn't sound too weird. Still one. Still the one. Sorry. I did see Nosferatu for Christmas. That's when the boy and I decided to put off exchanging Christmas gifts from Christmas to later. And then I was sick the day we swapped it too. So, but I saw Nosferatu. I was, I think, unfortunately too excited for the movie. I ended up being somewhat disappointed that he didn't really pull it off effectively. Now, I certainly watched it. And it's a very good chance I'll actually buy it to own it because it is so visually amazing. In fact, it's so visually amazing. It still stayed in my top 10 of the year, despite, what I consider several key errors, including really just blowing the final act. He did one thing that let all the tension drain out of what was going to happen, especially for people who know the story. And then he did some weird kind of melodrama after. I'm not going to spoil it for people because some people may not know the story as well as I do. But I really feel that his desire to be respectful of the source material in this way actually undermined the movie he was trying to make. He didn't, weirdly enough, he made changes, yes. He made some really smart changes too. But there's some things that were left in there that should have been edited out just because they didn't work. Or they made the movie long for no good reason. So Nosferatu's in my top 10, but barely. When I see things like Anora or Count of Monte Cristo, which I'm hearing amazing things about those movies, Didi as well, but it feels like looks like a documentary. So I don't have anything against documentaries, but I don't look at documentaries the same way I look at other films when I'm talking about my top 10. You know what I mean? I'm not a documentarian. I don't do documentary type stuff, so I don't get people having too much appeal for that. I don't think it would be appropriate for me to have that much attention onto something I have that little connection with. I mean, when it comes to factual information, I'm much better at reading books than retaining information from documentaries. I just find it's like they have these wow moments that completely go, holy shit, this is the story. And then I forget. Like, I remember a bunch of stuff from Gasland, but I've forgotten a ton of stuff from Gasland. Which is, Not exactly something you want to brag about. All right, so I think I want to shift down to the 1 for this rendering here. It's finer than I'm giving it. Yeah, that using the 3 for that was a mistake. Came out a little blotchy. I like smoother renders. Yeah, that's better already. Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, as I just realized I let everything descend into dead air again. So yeah, no stream next Sunday because of my being in Vegas. No stream the following Sunday because I'll still be in Vegas. So that's 2 weeks you got off from me. Yeah. So if you I need a break from Richard, here's your 2 week break from Richard. Enjoy. But yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm tempted to bring my camera, but I kind of don't want to bring anything that has that much value and potentially have to deal with like customs and stuff. Because like, wow, you're bringing a camera to the U.S. Is this for professional stuff? Because I just want to take a bunch of pictures of Vegas, but I'm not a photographer at heart. I just want to have the camera handy. Does that make sense? I think what I'm going to try and do is finish all the dress. This is going to be really intense work. And I think it's really good to hit it when I'm fresh because everything's going to get more expressive and linear as I move to the top. And that's going to make it harder to see what I'm doing because the arm will be moving fast because I'm trying to create these waves. You can see the indication of water movement lines in this piece. So a lot of the lines are going to be moving that line direction. And then there'll be white paint's effect on the top of that. So I want a couple more waves of hair, and I'll do that with the brush. So you know what? I'm going to bring out the brush for this too. So there's one thing I can do with this stupid Sharpie brush. Where did I put it? There it is. Maybe this one, the other brushes, is I can paint out, like you can see how pretty much everything in this shape is going to be black, solid black with like highlights painting in, but only the stuff on this side of the figure is going to really get hit by that sunset. Everything else is going to be hit from reflected light from above. So while it's good to render everything so you can see where those lights coming from, it's also a good idea to indicate your area with solid black so you don't end up wasting a huge amount of time rendering areas that are just going to be covered up a bit. I don't know if markers squeak. Sounds like laughter. Yeah, it just saved me a ton of time. Use my phone to do what? Sorry, it's just out of context, probably not looking quick enough. No sound happened. Use my phone to do what, Anson? I think 3 would be better than 5, actually. Yeah, when I'm working this way, one of the benefits for me from working this way is how I get to choose my own tools to achieve the visual results I want. Um, that's a pretty big deal because, quite honestly, everyone starts in comics. You have to use an HB pencil, you have to use a 2H pencil, you have to use a number 2 Sable Kolinsky or number 4 Sable Kolinsky, preferably both. You need to use Higgins Black Magic. You need this. You need these nibs. You need this dip pen. You need that 102. You need the holder for the 102. All this stuff. And suddenly you're using a whole bunch of equipment you may not actually enjoy, but you have to because it's what everyone in comics uses. And I think that's caused more problems for artists than anything else. I think the current situation where any artist can do whatever they want with whatever they want, and as long as it looks good, it's good, has greatly improved things for comics in general. Just as AI comes on board and starts wrecking things for everybody. Yeah, I don't feel the need to preserve white as a value in this far foreground because I will be coming back in with white paint to address any screw ups I did in this little area. Okay. Still no answer from Anson for what he wants me to use my phone for. So I think it's a mystery. I think he's messing with all our heads. Oh, okay. So I think this is the week. At least one of the $25 a month commissions. You guys have reached out to me yet, but it's the holiday season, so I know that's. I think Anson's is next month, and I know there's a third one. So I know one of the people was interested in just immediately rolling over to another, like getting another 11 by 17 for the following year, which is kind of awesome for me. I'm not going to say no to that. Knowing that I got a commission to come up in a year, that's awesome. That just makes everything easier. I know Anson, I believe he's still leaning towards quorum, but I am not going to take his choice away from him. He can get me to do whatever he wants me to draw. Well, within reason. I think you'd understand what reasons those would be. Yeah, I think I might be able to see. It's just after 8. I might be able to finish most, if not all, of the skirt in the water before potentially running along for you guys. Now the highlights on the fabric. I'm gonna have to look up some fabric floating in water like this. This is based on memories from movies and shit, fashion photo shoots. If I can find a decent photo reference of a dark skirt floating in water like this, I can make a few practice bits with what I'll do at the white paint stage at the end of the project, like how I'll apply like highlights, and I might end up going back into like here, like this little area here. I might go back in and where? There we go. This might end up being like the perfect solution to getting a nice even dark on this skirt. It's just a very simple rubber stamp. And we just get a little bit of dots. Probably impossible to see that. Just hit it there. And I don't mind these dots going into the water either. They'll just be taken up as visual noise. Huh. Yeah, this might be, I could even go darker than this, I think. Just cranking some of the dots down. Right, so it's a weird little bit of zip. Just that's off camera shit, so you can see what I'm doing here. Dances at the end of time. Oh yeah, shit. Okay, I have to reread that before I'd start because I think I read it in the '80s. I'll be on Amazon right after the stream tonight. Dances at the end of time, man. I remember most of it. I think it vague some, but it's like, yeah, probably best to reread the book before tackling that type of a. I mean, it's Moorcock, right? I don't actually even mind putting some of the stamp right over top of the skin of the person in the background. It's going to be all water stuff, weird water effects. So, yeah. Okay, I don't want to get carried away with the non-dress spaces because then I won't be able to finish it in time by 8:30. Not that I'm really I'm still tired from like the health stuff, but I'm nowhere near as bad as I was where I had to like cancel like last week. But I may not be in my best interest to push it too late while I'm still recovering from this garbage, and we still don't know what it is. which is probably the worst part about it. Oh, if anyone was waiting for Coven to be available to order from the Zoop site, they just added Coven to the shop. So, because you order from me in Canada, your shipping is going to be worse. But they have, I believe, signed and unsigned copies available. So it's just look up Zoop, go to the shop, and they have a lot of. Apparently, they're going to have adding a small number of that Winter Soldiers book, because I missed out on that campaign. I can't remember if it was broke at the time or I just missed out. I think I just missed out. It wasn't a cheap book, but it wasn't enough that I would I'll put up paying a bill to make sure I can get that book. So yeah, it's John Paul Leon is so good. Taken from us way too soon. And that book is so beautiful, and like the printed size, to be able to get like an artist edition of it, perfect. All right, cool. All right, so as soon as you make up your mind, Ensign, it's a go. And then I'll order dancers if I need to. Otherwise, I'll just dig into it as soon as I'm back from Vegas. I mean, yours technically hasn't come up yet in terms of renewal or cancellation or termination. I guess would be the better technical term for that. Medical term. Jesus. Clearly, you can tell that someone has medical issues online. Again, I'll be gone for a week, and I can't touch them now. But it's yeah, I think I'm excited to do these commissions. I'm also, I think this will be the last piece I'll immediately put my shop for sale, because I have to start piling up work for another one of those comic art auctions in the spring. Okay, well, I don't want you to wait too long for it. I mean, you've already been waiting a year for it, but that was that was baked into it. Here's a situation where it's like, yeah, and if you want, I'll actually put aside a live stream to work on it for you. I mean, it's either that or Vikings right now. Damn it. That line just got messy for no reason whatsoever. It was just sloppiness on my part. I have to clean that up now. It sucks. It's change what I'm working on then. Yeah, it's a 5. All right. Oh, wow. Look at that. So that is, I should have tested that. My pad ink is taking longer to dry. Look at that. That's not a good sign. Because that means it got picked up by the edge. I was working as if there was no issues with the pad ink, and it is taking forever to dry. Look at that. Sponge right in there. Again, I can fix that with white paint. I hate having to correct stupid errors like that, though. Now it's entirely on me. So even now, I can't work at that area. Look at that. Let me try the Sumo. It seems to have a little bit more tooth to it. Maybe the Sumo will lift it. Ooh, actually lifted it up a bit. Not a lot. Oh, I have somewhat more abrasive end over here. Okay, some of it listed. I'm going to have to go wash my hands before I do any more work. Because I do want to do more work. We got like 15 minutes here. All right, live stream for Ansons. All right. Maybe we should do a book club. Try and get everyone to read Dances at the End of Time for that stream. Pin the date down for when I'm working on it. And we just, everyone, so as many people as possible know what the book is. That might be fun. Jerry Cornelius, also cool. Any of the Eternal Champions are fun. I mean, again, because Moonglum finally showed up in the graphic novels, I'm kind of tempted to suggest Moonglum. But there's also part of me kind of wants to just draw, Elric again, but in a more heroic. Last time I did it, it was with the red ink. It was like he's clearly capable of great villainy because of what the situation is around that art. Whereas I think there's an inherent heroic nature of Elric that comes up more when he's hanging out with Moonglum. I feel like Moonglum was in many ways Elric's conscience. Jerry Cornelius is a much cleaner character. Corum is I'm trying to remember, was Corum my first Moorcock or was it Elric? I think because they didn't have the first volume of Wayland's covers in stock at my local bookstore, I opted for these weird 3-book collections of Corum, which had the entirety of Corum's work there. I think I actually have a cloth I can use to clean my hands here, so I don't have to go away from the stream. And I'm not seeing it. All right. Well, I do have some water as a paper towel, so let me do that. I'm just going to back away from the work with the water spray. And there's also something really almost intrinsically alien about Corum in the same way there is something intrinsically alien around Elric. New Worlds. No, I'm talking about, there were North American editions that were from North American editions distributed in Canada. It included, I had a choice of getting this other apparently series of volumes of Corum, but I also had these omnibus, 3-book omnibus collections, and that's how I got to enjoy Corum. I got to get all the Wayland Elric covers up until the Robert Gould editions came out, and then I fell in love with those. And I bought them again, and that would become a pattern every time. Every time they come with a new edition of Elric, I bought it, and I just did that again. I bought the hardcovers. God, I'm terrible. I'm such an easy mark for this shit, aren't I? Damn, the stamps really threw me off. That was terrible. I really should have thought of it earlier and tested before doing anything else. That's on me, people. That's when an artist makes a mistake. Man, I'm really leery about touching it. Let me go back to the hair here again. Yeah, let me get this hair sorted. And since I'm running, all right, we're already at 8:20. Shit. All right. Well, I'm running out of time fast enough as it is. Let me use the Sharpie on the hair. I know that takes a long time to dry, but it also means that as soon as I finish working with the Sharpie brush on this paper, maybe a fruity pen. Not here's Sharpie. It's nice and dark. Um, and I'm also gonna have to do this. I just don't want to risk making more of a mess. Take this page, mark off stamping. Here we go. I've never read Draconium. I've heard great things. There's so many books that were out from that era that I heard about, but there was just, I mean, I think the 80s were like a strange fantasy boom for print. I could be wrong. It just seemed like it's like every week there was like two or three new fantasy books to read, and at least one or two reprints of stuff that was like classics that are finally coming back into print because of the boom. I mean, you had everything from Gore to Conan. Um, so it was almost impossible not to find fantasy you'd enjoy. What I might do is I might let that's not too bad. Some more fine hair for the areas where I just added the super chunky black. And then the last bit of this gets dealt with when I'm doing the highlights in white paint at the end. So I'll do like hair and every time I do some thick line where it's thinning it too much, I'll just throw like a hairline or two beside it and I'll soften it up tremendously. All right, we're 8:24, so we're essentially at the end of it. I'm going to try and finish this week, but the priority is going to be to get other work done before I leave for Vegas on Monday. But I'm hopefully, I mean, it's not that hard to do. It's mostly just as soon as I get past this part where the visual information has to be nailed in a certain way, everything else is almost impressionistic. It makes sure the values are nailed right. So this is where I'm at now. I'll probably do a work in progress post like I did with the We Bring Early Death. Yeah, so 2 weeks off. Sorry about that. I won't be I don't know if during the week in Vegas I'll have much art to post to social media. I'm not anticipating it, honestly, because most of what I'm going to be doing are like planning drawings and designs and layouts and stuff. Yeah, I'm not bringing actual Viking pages to finish. I might bring. It's a couple of sequences I thought of. I should at least try to see how they lay out, and if they're good enough, then I'll actually then I have to include them. Right? There's just new story ideas that came to me as I was drawing stuff. So what I might do is instead of bringing Vikings pages to pencil and ink, I might write out all the specific scenes that I may want to add, and then work on layouts with those, and see if they fit. So that's where we are with We Bring Only Death. I finished another story for the Coven book. Again, I'll start sharing those closer to the actual launch of the campaign. But then I came up with another story. Ugh, it's going to be a really interesting process. I haven't been allowed to do this much writing in my career for a long time. Um, so I'm really excited to have this many really cool ideas. And on top of that, I got artist friends who really want me to draw stuff from because they like my ideas. So I got one friend. I came up with a World War II era mech combat with the Russians as the ostensible protagonists and their own machine. Machines, I should say. And it's called Barbarossa because the Germans have an ultimate mech, which is called the Barbarossa, that they're using to invade Russia. And you know what? Honestly, in talking about the story idea, you guys said, "Wow, a lot like Fury." I said, "You know, if I capture the energy of Fury in the writing of this, I think we got a hit." Um, so yeah, imagine like it's battle mechs. Oh, Simon Vance is a good reader. Trying to remember what the hell book did I have? I'm not a big audiobook guy, but I was gifted an audiobook that he did the narration for, and I was like, oh. So I usually don't pay attention because most of the time it's like I'm in the car driving. I can't pay attention to music writer. As long as I can follow the story, I'm happy. Um, I kind of fallen off of audiobooks lately too, so it's harder to keep track of it. But I do remember that name. Good morning, Navajo Native Drawings. It is 8:30 here though. So where is it good morning for you? Yeah, I can hear that. I can see that. Vance is good. Vance is good. I mean, not as good as Ray Fiennes' reading of "I'm Very Demure" at CNN New Year's. That was classic. I laughed so hard, which is great because he owed it to me because he made me cry so freaking hard during Conclave. Jesus, why is it every movie now has to make me bawl my eyes out? Is that age or is that just that's just the way they're making movies now? Speaking of making me cry, I'm gonna brag about it. My son got this for Christmas. I love this series, and yes, I cried the fuck ton out of it, and I laughed the fuck ton out of it. And honestly, as good as this is, season 2 of Shrinking is still 10 times better. So if you're not watching Shrinking, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't like Harrison Ford or comedies, yeah, I get that. But this is possibly the best work of Harrison Ford's career. Um, if he doesn't win an Emmy for this, I say we CEO the entire Emmy voting panel. I'm kidding. Although that's what I'm now saying. Instead of like saying killing people, we should CEO them because it's like it's going to take a while for the social media algorithms terrified of actual human revolution to catch on to that one. But they will because they always do. They always shut down everything good. The thing that okay. I don't think I talked about the whole Luigi thing. Oh, here. Oh, Romania. And you Navajo native? Really? Romania is cool. Yeah, yeah. I keep forgetting that there's actually people in the world who are older than me. I'm old. I'm just gonna. I just, shit. I picked up some more. I can see the smudge I made with it too. Luckily, it's in a busy area, so it's not going to show up. It probably won't even scan. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Okay, I hit my wall. I mean, I was drawing all day. I really one of these days I'll have just have energy and I'll just run until I finish a piece. They'll be probably more likely once I'm through whatever, like to finally figure out what they need to do to get me through this, and I catch up on everything else. For the comic art fans auction or event, I'm going to be doing it like I did in the late summer, where he had like about 20 pieces, covers and original commission, like original pieces, just to create a variety. I kept getting told that they want Marvel characters for this event. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do at least 12 pieces that are just nothing but Marvel characters. And what I might do is I might let you guys decide. You guys are my Patreons. Decide, or patrons? Patrons. Yeah, it's Patreons, like butchering the name and making it worse. It's like I'll probably do like 8 to 10 Marvel characters. Some of them are self-evident, but it's like let's get a hierarchy of like what characters I'm going to tackle. I mean, Wolverine's kind of a gimme because everyone's always like, "Oh, I want to see what your Wolverine looks like." So I've drawn a lot of Wolverines. I might draw a Hellboy for it because it's like everyone loves Hellboy. And I love drawing Hellboy, so maybe I'll do another Hellboy. But other than that, it's probably going to be. I want to do a Captain America. I think I do decent Captain Americas. No, I'm Canadian. I think it's easy for me to really love doing Captain America because it believes in an ideal that doesn't exist in reality. Yeah, I'm probably going to actually do some more rubber stamping on top of this with the thicker pattern because I like the little bit of dots I'm seeing in the gaps, but I want it to be a little bit more balanced because right now it seems really kind of like uneven. Like the black diffuse or breaks apart from the half tone rendered places too much. God, my brain's so scattered right now. All right. Okay. Sorry. The scattering is like messing me up here. All right. And it's great. I got to tell you. Oh, hang on. I made a draw after yours with that warrior you made before Christmas. I think you shared that with me online, didn't you? At least someone did. All right. Everyone, again, I'm sorry. I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. I hope you guys have the best possible 2 weeks without, weekly doses of me babbling or silently drawing away. I hope nothing but good things happen to you guys over the next 2 weeks. I will try and post some art this week on my social media stuff. So if you're already following Instagram or Bluesky, that's a great place to find me. I'm also on Cara, but Cara seems to be dying off a little bit. I think the momentum shifted to Bluesky. My Patreon is still $1 a month, and that's where I there's a drop in December where my post. I think I only posted 2 things all of December. I've already posted like I think 3 or 4 things this year. So I'm getting back to my posting. My health issues, I have to apologize for it. There's so many things I keep dropping the stitches on because of just not having enough energy to get through the freaking day. There is another New Year's piece I intend to do, but it's probably going to wait till the spring. Anyone who didn't receive the previous 2, if you're Patreon, I might post this because I just got a message the first shipment was an absolute disaster. But the company I used said they fixed everything. So I used them again for the second one. And now I've had 4 people from Patreon say they didn't receive those either, which is upsetting. Considering that these people just called me and say, "Hey, you're shipping out a whole bunch of cards this year again?" And I'm like, huh. Yeah, if I'm out with them. If a whole bunch of them went missing again, there's no way in hell I'm using them again. It feels like they just took my money like 3 times for shipping. And they don't. You know what else? They didn't give me any fucking tracking. I just had to promise everything was going to the addresses I gave them. All right. Anyway, enough bitching. All right. You guys again have a good week. 2 weeks. I'll see you when I'm back. Hopefully, if you have any questions, any suggestions, as always, make your comments here. I get good notifications and comments here, and they're good. Don't ask me about Bitcoin. The last comment I got was asking me about how to unload Bitcoin, and I was like, dude, come on. I'm an artist. It's not like I have money to invest in stupid things like Bitcoin. Anyway, all right, guys. You have a great night, and I will see y'all in 2 weeks. Bye.